unicorns, and welcome back to another video. Just in case you are new, my name is Natalie and this is my Cafecito y Pan Dulce YouTube channel where we have coffee talks about anything and everything. Today's video is super exciting, but at the same time it's probably very disappointing to some of you because some of you were probably expecting a vlog from my adventure in New York City. However, I made the decision to not vlog in New York City because it was my first time going and I really just wanted to enjoy the 4 days and 3 nights that we were there with my cousins, with my little sisters, and I just wanted to enjoy the moments we were there, experience New York City for the first time without having to worry about having a camera out and about. It was an amazing experience. I still can't believe that it actually happened. I think that I'll probably remember it more, maybe or be able to fully comprehend everything that happened when we go back a second time, or I don't know. I just wanted to share with you guys some of little mini video clips that I may have, some of the places that we went to eat at, my recommendations, and any tips that I may have. So if you're planning on going to New York City at all and anytime in the future or anytime soon, then please keep on watching. This is coming from a complete tourist in New York City. So if you're interested, then please keep on watching. Also, forgot to mention to not forget to grab your coffee. I shared a lot of pictures and actually started a whole highlight tab on my Instagram, so just in case you don't follow me on Instagram, it's just lost.with.coffee. If you follow me on there, you can see the whole Instagram highlights, and a lot of the information I'm going to give you now is going to be repeated in there. Well, a lot of the places that we went to, at least, or what we did. So we were going for my cousin's bachelorette. We're not really the party type of girls, so we went more for as a girls trip, kind of our last trip all together as single, all single women, because she's getting married now. Not that her husband wouldn't let her go on a trip with us again, but it's just the last time she's single, First tip for you would be to stay at an Airbnb and not a hotel. I personally preferred the Airbnb because it was in a way quieter place of New York City. You were not waking up to sirens every once in a while. I mean, I'm a pretty heavy sleeper, but none of my cousins, nobody complained about it. It was a pretty quiet neighborhood and it was still pretty close to the subway. It was a 5-minute walk to the subway. It was a 2-3 minute walk to the nearest bus stop, and I just really liked the location we stayed at. The actual place was super cozy and it had a great view from all rooms, and it had a cute little kitchen that had all the things available for you to make any kind of meal that you want to make. I 100% recommend the Airbnb that we stayed at. I'll leave it linked down below. It was booked all last minute because the place we had originally booked for the bachelorette decided to charge us out of nowhere last minute, so we were pretty angry about that, but we found a way better place. My second tip is to get an M card, and just in case you don't know what an M card is, it's a MetroCard. This is what they look like. I kept mine. So we got the 7-day unlimited pass, and we were only there for 4 days and 3 nights, but I think if you're planning on using public transportation as your main way of transportation, if you're staying there more than 3 days, I would say this is completely 100% worth it, because you would have to pay $2.50 every time you got on a new bus or every time you got out of the subway station and got into another subway. So for the way there, the way back, this was worth it. The public transportation just made the New York City experience so much more better, and I felt so much more immersed into the New York City life when I was using this and we were moving around in public transportation versus not. We didn't even take an Uber or a Lyft or anything like that from the airport to the Airbnb or from the Airbnb to the airport. We were traveling on buses, on subways with our luggages, and it was not too bad. It was such a great experience. Plus, you get really cute pictures when you're on the subway and the buses. My second tip, if you're using public transportation, is that Apple Maps is better than Google Maps. I know I am such a Google Maps advocate, even though I have the Apple products. I use Google Maps all the time for driving, but for public transportation, I think Apple Maps is much more accurate and it's much more reliable. When I was using Google Maps, it wouldn't even tell me that there was a way out of the airport through public transportation, but when we used Apple Maps, it told us what bus to take out of the airport and onto like a subway or train station. So this is another like little thing about like public transportation. You have to request the stop always before your actual stop, because the buses don't always stop at the stops you need to stop at. And if you're still getting out and you notice that the bus starts moving, don't be afraid to yell and be like, hey, I'm still getting off. Like, you gotta be aggressive, okay? Other few quick little tips: make sure you carry around a water bottle. I mean, if you really want to pay for a water bottle everywhere you go, then you can go ahead, but I bet you $1,000,000, like we didn't even try because we were carrying around our own water bottles, that you would pay $3 per water bottle that you needed or that you wanted. And I just don't think that's worth it. Just carry around your own little water bottle that you can be refilling at any public water drinking fountain or at the water at your Airbnb. Or use the restroom whenever you have a restroom available to you. Don't wait until you have to use the restroom. And I felt so bad for my pregnant cousin because there were times where there were no restrooms available anywhere. She had to probably go like a good 3 hours waiting for a restroom. Some New York people can be mean, but that's because they're going on about their daily lives and there's these stupid tourists just walking around like, what do I do? But there are just as many, if not more, nice New Yorkers. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? They could just be like, I'm not helping you. Then you say, fine, I'll go ask this other person. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Things with Times Square that we notice, the people that are like in costumes and want to take a picture or asking you if you want to take a picture with them, that's not too bad. At least not in our experience, it wasn't. Like, you could just be like, no, walk away, no thank you, walk away. Not too pushy, I wouldn't say. Like, it's very easy to just be like, no, and they leave you alone. But with like show performers in Times Square specifically, I would personally not want to be a volunteer of any show performance in Times Square, because they will find a way to get some money out of you. It's completely up to you. Just know, out of politeness, like, if you are watching the show, then you should at least give $1 or $2. Like, this is how they make their money, like their extra money or just money in general. So now I'm gonna kind of go into the places that we went to eat that I would 100% recommend that you guys go to. We went to a little coffee house called PLG. It's in Brooklyn, and I believe it's still in Crown Heights, which is where the Airbnb is at. It was literally like 17 minutes away from the Airbnb. It was so cute, very limited seating area, but people during like rush times, so anytime before 3 on the weekends and most weekday nights, I think they're not allowed to stay there for very long. So it's kind of an eat and go place. Like, you can't plan on staying there for too long. At least I wouldn't, out of respect for the other people that are probably sitting there waiting to be able to sit down. I had the cheese and egg and guac croissant, and it was good. I also had a cappuccino there. That was also good. And my cousins, everybody really seemed to like it. It was just a really cute, vibey little place. Then the other place that I recommend you all go to is called Weekends. We went more for lunch than breakfast, more brunch. And I had a chicken burrito with guac in it too, of course, and it was so good. And the guys there, this is the Brooklyn location. The guys there were so nice, so polite, and so like great at customer service. The other little place that we went to in Williamsburg, so Weekends is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and then this other place is also in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, pretty nearby. So after you've had your little brunch at Weekends, you can go to Martha's Country Bakery, and that was a super cute little bakery. The day we went, it was on a Monday. The cupcakes were $1.25, and the cupcakes were really good, and I had a cake pop that was also very, very delicious. That was basically all the places we went to eat at. But other places that I had heard of that were really good were Shake Shack, a lot of pizza places. But of course, like I told you guys before, download Yelp. It's gonna be your best friend if you're traveling over there and you need to find somewhere to eat. So now for the last stretch of this video. Oh my gosh, I forgot a food place to mention. So my cousin, on the last day, I don't know where she got it from, but she wanted to try a waffle cone ice cream, and it's basically like the cone of the ice cream is made out of waffles. And we found this place in Eggloo that's actually in Chinatown, and it was pretty good. I didn't have the waffle cone ice cream, I just had the waffle, but both were really good. So now, moving on to the places I recommend you guys all go to. I think out of respect, I would definitely recommend the 9/11 Memorial. It is weird being there, and you know, I mean, when you consider everything that happened, it can be weird, it can be uncanny, and it can be a little awkward. But I think it's a good awkward that is important to have. You know, like some of those awkward moments are the things that help you grow the most. I think this is one of those moments that I think everybody should go experience when they're in New York, is going to the 9/11 Memorial, especially if you were alive during the time, and even more especially if you weren't alive during the time, because it's something that really shook our nation. And I know a lot of people don't like to be reminded about it, but I think it's very important for us to remember. I would say it is worth going to Times Square, even if you are just going to walk around for half an hour. It's the infamous Times Square. You want to be able to say you've seen all those lights and have taken a selfie with all the lights. And it's free also, unless you want to buy a chili cheese dog from like a street cart, or a churro, which is another thing that churro, I really just said that. It's a churro, okay? My cousin bought both of those things and she really liked them. These are all, I think all the things I'm going to recommend are free, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, we also went to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American Indian History. I think that was the proper name of it.
climbing or running.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of sharp edges.
Yeah, no climbing.
Dun, 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 dun. And I really loved it. There's so much painting, so much visual like representation of American Indians, culture, history. When I'm saying like American Indian, I'm saying like, I'm pretty sure it went in North America and South America. Both of them were included in the museum. And it's also free, and it's a great place for you to even go with kids. We went with our cousin, and there's like our younger cousin, and she's 9 years old, and there's a downstairs section that's specifically made for kids, but also like you would have fun as an adult, or at least I did. So that was really fun. 100% recommend that. I also really recommend you go to the Staten Island Ferry, and that one is the free option to see the Statue of Liberty. You don't get super close, but you get close enough that you get to see her in her copper glory. She's literally right there. You get to take pictures with her. I think it's more worth it than actually going, like paying the whatever it is, $25, $26, however much it is to actually be on the island. But the Staten Island Ferry is free, and it goes, I think, from 8 in the morning to 11:30 at night, and it departs every half an hour, and it's not that hard. Like, you'll see like a big crowd when you get there, but usually that whole big crowd will make it inside. Make sure you attach yourself to your group so you don't lose your group, because that's what we did. We were literally holding hands and making sure we didn't lose each other. Chelsea Market is also another place I would recommend you guys go to. So much food is available there. I think it's a place where if you're on a budget, you have to kind of pick and choose where you want the food from, or I don't know. I don't think it's a great place for if you're on a budget. We were on a budget, and I think we were all a little overwhelmed with the prices of everything. And it's also very important to research what places you're interested in going to in the Chelsea Market, because or else you could just get lost and overwhelmed with what to choose. So we went to a place that was making crepes, and my sister and I had a Nutella strawberry crepe, and it was so good. But it was $9. And then we also went to Number One Tacos, and their tacos were pretty expensive. Some of the most expensive I've ever had. It was $4 per taco, but they were really good. Like really good. One of the best tacos I've ever had in my life. I'm not gonna lie. And right by there's another place called something Mariscos, and my cousin said she had the best ceviche tostada that she's ever had in her life. But again, I think it might be more of a place to like snack and choose from than actually having like a sit-down meal. So just keep that in mind. It's more of a lunchy place than anything else. Another thing I recommend, going to Central Park. Of course, it's like the biggest park in New York City. Like, how are you not going to go to Central Park? We biked around Central Park because my cousin really wanted to. But I probably, like, after having the biking experience, and maybe that is because I had the biking experience, I would recommend walking instead, and actually, like, sitting down in the middle of the park and actually, like, sitting down for, like, a little lunch or something like that. But we didn't have much time, and it was one of the sunnier days that we had to take advantage of. So we decided to go on the bikes. Make sure that you plan ahead of time what route you're going to take with bikes, because there's one way on one side and one way on the other side, and you have to be able to cut across at a certain point to go back to the other way in case you have limited time. Don't be afraid to bargain with the bike people, not the city bike people, but the other people that are off on the side saying like, oh, we can give you a better bike. Don't be afraid to bargain with them, because that's what we did. And there's so much to look at, especially right now during the springtime. There's so many beautiful trees. 100% recommend it. And the lake in the middle of it, oh, so gorgeous. We got to see it during sunset. So gorgeous. I personally don't know that I would recommend the History Museum that's in New York City. We went, but we went on a day that there were a lot of people there, and maybe that's why it was a little less of an exciting experience, because there were so many people there and it was just overwhelming. But it was a really great experience just seeing everything. So I think it's worth it, but it's not. You get to decide. I thought it was worth it, but some people that get overwhelmed by crowds maybe didn't think it was worth it. I think some of my cousins maybe didn't think it was worth it, but I thought it was worth it. It's hiding from it. They just have a lot of visual stuff there too. Again, a lot of cultural things. Different levels have different things. Then my other two things that I recommend: going to the Brooklyn Bridge. Franny, that's the bike section. Taking pictures, enjoying the walk. Be careful for bikes, move out of the way for bikes, please, and enjoy it. It's such a cute little place to take pictures, and it's so nice to be able to see the Manhattan Bridge too from the Brooklyn Bridge and just see the whole city. I would say go during the day and go at night too. We only went during the day, but I would have loved to see it at night. My last thing I recommend, finally we're making it to the end. Going to some kind of place that is known for graffiti art in New York City. There are a lot of places. One of the places I was recommended to go to was Bushwick, but we didn't have time to go there. Instead, while we were eating at Weekends in Williamsburg, because Williamsburg also has a few little street arts, we were walking around there and we saw a few different graffiti street art pieces. Graffiti street art pieces. I think that would be the proper word. So I think that's it. Let me double check. Now that I'm back in reality, I feel like it's actually over, and I can't even like remember. I don't know. Oh, such a cool experience to have. Anyways, so hopefully I can edit this video so it's not too long. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, found it helpful. If you're going to New York City or want to know how my experience went, make sure once again that you're following me on Instagram. I'm probably going to be posting a lot more pictures there. I will leave everything that I mentioned and everything I recommended down below, including the Airbnb and the name of the restaurants that we went to. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Big thank you to my cousins, to Sina, who is like family, and my little sisters for going to New York with me and experiencing it with me. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I love you guys. Bye! Say bye, Sparky. No? Ooh! Right in the lip.
that one's the Brooklyn Bridge, and the other one is